welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Karostasis. This is Gideon of the Trials, Final Fortune, Isochron Scepter control. This deck is a brew challenge. Karostasis, the brief was make Gideon do something interesting in Legacy. And beyond that, it was really up to me. And I decided to swing for the fences on this one because I don't think Gideon's first two abilities are interesting. I think that, yeah, we could build like a Maverick deck and just put Gideon in it, or some mid-range deck, some Ancient Tomb deck with like White Initiative or whatever, where we just play Gideon sometimes, and maybe it fogs a creature and lets us win a race. But the really, really interesting thing about Gideon of the Trials is its third ability, which is you get an emblem with, as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker, you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. That's the wow factor on this card, though having played with it myself in the past in a number of decks in a number of formats, that's actually the most useless ability on the card. But I wanted to lean into it for this one. Things that came to mind are like Spoils of the Vault, just shred through your deck, get whatever you want, you don't care about your life total, Ad Nauseam, flip your deck, win somehow. If you don't lose, you don't care how much life you have. But ultimately, we landed on Final Fortune. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose. But if you can't lose, this is just Time Walk. But it's better than Time Walk because it's an instant, which means it could go under Isochron Scepter, which creates the combo of tap Isochron Scepter, cast Final Fortune, take an extra turn, you lose the end of that turn, but we can't lose, therefore infinite turns. This is basically Time Vault and Voltaic Key in Legacy. I've played a Final Fortune Sundial of the Infinite deck on the channel a while back. That deck used like Ancient Tombs and stuff to try to just ram its pieces in as aggressively as possible. That was largely unsuccessful. I wanted to work this into the shell of a normal deck. Jeskai Wizard's pretty normal deck. You get to play powerful cards like Tamiyo. And this is a deck where Gideon fogging a creature for 2 or 3 turns might actually be super important. Gideon's middle ability to become a 4/4 soldier when nothing else is going on. That's a win condition in a deck that is light on them. And then if the pieces lock together, you get an emblem. The emblem can be independently insane versus decks like Doomsday or Storm that might not actually be able to remove the Gideon Planeswalker, and just like 3-mana emblem pass, GG, is in range. Cephalid Breakfast. I mean, most of the Thassa's Oracle decks might struggle to remove a Planeswalker in combat. So Gideon stands on his own in this shell well enough, but then we also have Silly Goose mode, where we start casting Final Fortune a bunch of times. Also in the shell is a smattering of other cool things to put under Isochron Scepter. We've got 1 Orum's Chant for the old school lock. If you're not familiar, Orum's Chant reads, target player can't cast spells this turn. If it was kicked, they can't attack. You can pay Kicker additional costs when you activate Isochron Scepter. So for 3 mana every turn, your opponent can't attack or cast spells. Hard to win a game where you can't do those things. There's 1 counterspell to go under the Scepter. There's 4 Brainstorms. And that's pretty much it. It's a low value Scepter, but there are some cool things to put under there. I decided to use Flame of Inor and Thundertrap Trainer as the shell for this, rather than, like more Planeswalkers or any of the other things we could do in Jeskai, because Thundertrap Trainer finds Isochron Scepter or Final Fortune, and Flame of Inor is just a great card. This is the type of Magic I like to play, with a fun twist on top of it. I'm excited for this. Let's do it. This is Jeskai ISO Gideon. I'm on the draw in round 1. Island Ponder Keep, baby. This is still, at its core, an Island Ponder Keep deck, even though there is some other stuff going on. Island, all right. Opponent has class and style. What is this island? Bloomburrow, little frog buddy in the snow. Cool. I like that island. I always feel better with a Force of Will in my hand. I'll take it. Flame of Inor, the clutch 3rd land. I will take these cards. I'll take the land first. A lot of island decks also have Thoughtseize in this format we're in. I'd like to hide that Flame of Anor. Okay, 2 islands. What are we doing? Chalice of the Void on 1. Oh, I have Flame of Anor on top of my deck. I will wait it out. What deck plays 2 basic islands and a Chalice of the Void? Am I playing against Merfolk right now? The top of my deck is Ponder, a card I certainly don't want. Oh, we're against some sort of blue Tron deck. Okay. I'm not going to fight that. So this is probably the blue post deck that just had its 2 basic islands up front. I have 1 Meticulous Archive in the deck that I can fetch for here. Plenty of access to red elsewhere. Archive. Thundertrap Trainer. I do like that guy. I'll take him. Do I get greedy and try to Thundertrap to set up an even better Flame of Anor down the road? I think I do. I don't even know if it's fair to call this greedy. Just getting my money. All right, Swords to Plowshares in my hand. Not very good right now. All right, that card I'm pretty worried about. I will spend a Force of Will on that and see where we land. This is a Force of Will deck I'm playing against. Forced me back. I'll be honest, folks. I am pretty tired of the One Ring, and I'm not gonna just rant about that for the entire match, though. It is a card that I hope isn't in the format anymore in November. All right. Volcanic Island. Destroy Chalice the Void. Target player draws 2. I would like to draw 2, and I'd like there to be a blue card among them. All right, cool. No attacks here. Doesn't matter. I have a Force of Will up. That'll quickly get out-muscled by the One Ring. I gotta make some Gideon stuff happen. I can steal this game with infinite turns underneath their bigger stuff. Karn. Well, I will force that Pitching Brainstorm. Gotta fade these big payoffs for a while. Tamiyo. I could play Tamiyo, leaving up Counterspell. The Ring is just burying me, though. Man, I wish I was playing Magic in any sort of normal capacity. Gideon, let's go. He hits pretty hard. That's a 4/4. All right, I can't lose the game until they remove Gideon. That's not hard to do for decks with Ugin. All right, pass the turn. We got an in the chat. Okay. I hope that means you're dead, but it probably just means they're surprised by the card. Glimmer Post. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is Ugin mana. Yep. Unbeatable card all the time. Well, really the One Ring's the unbeatable card. They've drawn 6 cards already from 1 card. If we were playing any sort of normal 1-for-1 Magic, we'd be in a different spot. But obviously, we're not. I don't think I can win anymore. I needed that turn to function. All right, GG. To the sideboard, bring in my Blood Moons and Consigns. Hope we have a chance in the future. Okay, Blood Moon, Pyroblast, Consign to Memory. Null Rod is interesting because it turns off their Ring, but also turns off my Isochron Scepter. I think I'd rather fight the Ring in other means. Swords to Plowshares out. Prismatic Ending is an answer to Chalice. Tamiyo is a little anemic in this matchup. Honestly, so is Gideon. I still have 2. Like, I'm not chickening out on the thing that I was asked to do. There's still plenty of this stuff in the deck to make that happen. Ponder is kind of bad versus Chalice of the Void and low impact, though it does let me find my high impact cards more. I'm pretty into Orbs Chanting this deck. I like Teferi because they're a deck full of counter spells and sticky permanents that bouncing could matter. It might just be a Prismatic Ending, actually. Their really important stuff costs 4, and I only have 3 colors in my deck. Yeah, on the play. Hell yeah, keep it. I'm going to fetch Basic Island and cast Ponder, which is a little awkward because I have a double red spell and a double white spell in my hand, but Blood Moon is one of the cards I'm ripping for. Force Negation, Plains, Pyroblast. I guess I want these cards, and probably in that order. I do not shuffle and pass. Cloud Post enters tapped. I have to play the Flooded Strand here because that represents Pyroblast if they just like shove a One Ring or some shit that I'm going to struggle with. That helps me win the fight, though that does shuffle away my Plains, which I'm not happy for. This is 3 mana, or 2 mana and one of it's blue. Their own Thunder Traps. Alright, that's fine. It's not fine, I don't like it, but it's there. I'm going to go for Teferi here, and I am going to fetch Plateau. I think. That gives me double white for next turn, and red. All right, Teferi's on the stack. It's not even a good thing to bounce Thundertrap Trainer, but this does guarantee that my counterspells will win the fight. This is a ton of mana because of Planar Nexus. Black. Barrogoyf. What a spicy juke. But guess what? Gideon of the Trials. Blank that guy. All right, Gideon, this is your moment to shine, big guy. Plus Teferi, play Gideon. Blank Barrogoyf. Still just terrified of Ugin. I do have 2 forces in my hand. Ugin's already too good, though. Glimmer Post. This is 3, 6, 7, 8 mana. Force of Negation, exiling Tameo here. I want Ponder. I really want to find more to do. The One Ring. Well, I guess we're cooked. Can't let that card resolve. And they still have Thundertrap Trainer in hand. Come on, Planeswalkers. Plus Teferi, plus Gideon, Barrogoyf. And pass the turn. My next red source, I could just do like a down and dirty Time Walk. Make the Gideon emblem, Time Walk, go again. I hope they cast a kicked Thundertrap Trainer this turn and just sink all their mana into that. I don't think I want stock up happening. Though knowing that they have another reload is not ideal. And now they can kick Thundertrap Trainer. Oh no, they're one short. Do you have a land in your hand? Trainer with 2 colorless floating. I can win this game if I draw Isochron Scepter. If there's a One Ring. Do they have another mana to play it? No, but it is in the hand. All right, Isochron Scepter for the win. Island. Okay, Gideon. And I guess I just plus Teferi, even though they could start washing out Teferi every turn with the Thundertrap Trainer. With 4 mana, though, I literally win if I draw Isochron Scepter. It's over. It would have been a pass and hope to untap with my stuff last turn. The ring resolves. Yep. We are treading water on the Teferi, but it is locking out counterspells. Come on, Isochron Scepter. Oh no, don't do more. Stop doing stuff. Yeah, it's too late for Blood Moon even here. I mean, I would play it if I draw it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus drawing a bunch of cards. You just tap 7 lands and cast Ugin. Isochron Scepter, one-time dealer. Counterspell. All right. Blank the Barrogoyf, plus Teferi. I don't think Counterspell is going to beat the One Ring here. But every turn, every draw step could be the one to take us home. Having a combo kill in my control deck is pretty nice. The Cloud Post for turn, that's worth 1 mana on this board now, and worth like 4 or 5 mana next turn. Okay, they tapped mana, then untapped mana, so there's something over there. They're just deciding when and how to use it. Kicked Thundertrap Trainer. I think I have to ignore that and just hope to spike. It's like a 4-for-1. It feels weird not countering a 4-for-1. I mean, this is a card I was worried about. 3, 4, 5, 6. They appear 1 short of Ugin right now and have already made their land drop. Another Barrogoyf. Does this matter? I have 1 draw step to rule them all anyway. I'm dead to Ugin next turn anyway. Okay. That resolves, and I have to draw Isochron Scepter right now. Do I care about that? All right, well, I have to draw Isochron Scepter anyway. Deck big rips, let's go. Isochron Scepter, please. Okay, I have some options here. Teferi can just bounce something, and then I'm shields down. I guess leaving the counterspell in my hand lets me Force of Will back. Yeah, I think I was supposed to let Chalice resolve. I can Final Fortune here, just fetch Volcanic Island, Final Fortune, get an extra look. But then Final Fortune will be gone, and I haven't actually done anything. I might have to just delete Teferi and hope it's good enough. If I do that, I should fetch Meticulous Archive first. Yeah, I'm just dead to Ugin next turn. Okay, so I'm going to fetch Meticulous Archive, and I have to see Isochron Scepter here. 2 looks at Iso Scepter. Thundertrap Trainer into the graveyard. Teferi, bounce. I guess it's the One Ring. It really doesn't matter. Scepter, 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 Scepter. Blood Moon. That's too late. All right, GG. We were somehow still in that one down to the bitter end. But this is going to be a bad matchup for any deck with basic Plains and Island in it. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2. Have some lands and spells and stuff. Gideon is here. He's been really good at showing up. Been in my opening hand all of the games so far in this league. All 3 of them. He knows it's his day. It's time to shine. Opponent also has 7 cards. Vault of Whispers. Alright, so we're against some sort of Saga Storm deck. Orum's Chant bridging the gap into Gideon the Trials is pretty gnarly here. I'm going to pass and hope that they overcommit to some Storm thing. This is frequently a Bowmaster deck, which makes the Gideon emblem a little worse, but it does stop some of the stuff they can do. Fellmire. Dark Ritual. I could chant in response to the Ritual, but I hope they Beseech here. Oh, Karn. Well, that's not good. Bummer. Alright. Karn resolves. We can figure that one out. Just plussing Karn. I like that. That means I could Orange Chant in response to them minusing Karn next turn, and then they don't get anything. Well, they get something, but they can't use it. I archive Tameo. I could Brainstorm, flip Tameo immediately. It doesn't even sound good, though. All right, Tameo into the graveyard. Too slow. You're out of here. A Brainstorm. Let's get this Swords to Plowshares out of my life. I found a Force of Will. All right, Swords to Plowshares gone. I think Tameo still goes here. Thundertrap Trainer can clear the top of my deck. All right. Pass. And now Force of Will means I don't necessarily have to Orum's Chant. All right, Karn's making a wish. Because I have Force, I'm not going to chant in response. This will probably get Liquid Metal Coating. Yep. I hope they don't have Thoughtseize to go with it. Haven't Thoughtseized me yet, though. Okay. They're afraid to make a move. I will fetch in my upkeep. Is this like a Stompy deck with Opposition Agent? Is that possible? Why didn't they spend mana that turn? Okay, I don't know. But I'll put Volcanic Island into play. Draw for turn. And I could stick this Gideon on the turn where I have Force backup. Though I think I'd rather do it the turn after. Thundertrap Trainer can start pressuring Karn. Alright, I'm going to Trainer. They might be holding up Bowmaster. That is a thing that their mana represents that they might deem better than Liquid Metal Coating against a blue-white deck. Okay, confirmed. I can't afford to Force of Will that. I do have a deck full of plows. 4 lands! Life is pain. A Tundra, pass. There's some mana in the pool. We can't have this happening. I do lose outright to that. If they play Lion's Eye Diamond here, I might have to Orum's Chant in response, because I am just cooked to a Echo of Eons from hand. And there's no window to respond to that once it's happening. Okay, they just plus Karn. That's exciting. Alright, now I can play Gideon, pass the turn, Orum's Chant them, start attacking with Gideon. Prevent all damage target permanent would deal. That turns off Orcish Bowmaster. I mean, it still makes a bigger Orc army, but it doesn't just kill me. Okay. Scalding Tarn can get Plateau or Tundra, any of which I'm comfortable with. I'm going to fetch now, make sure I don't get Opposition Agented. There are double red cards in my deck, so I'll get Plateau. Gideon. Emblem. And I'll pass. I'll wait for them to minus Karn to chant them. This game is actually becoming very interesting. The timing of this Orum's Chant. I don't think they would have any artifacts with Flash in their deck. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Dauthi Voidwalker. Okay, yeah, that happens. Chanting in response to that doesn't do anything. That also means they're not wishing for something with Karn that beats me. Oh, this is probably just Helm Stompy then. If they have Karn and Voidwalker, this is not Black Saga Storm. Okay. That's good intel. And the Karn was weird when they played it to be Black Saga Storm, but it could be some hybrid. I don't think this deck is going to Echo of Eons me. I think they are going to try to help me out. I didn't have to use the chant. The Re-Gideon. Okay, I'm going to leave up white for Chant with Kicker, and I'm going to play another Thundertrap Trainer. I found a Scepter. That doesn't work with Karn in play, so I guess Teferi is my guy here. Though I could bank the Scepter, fight the Karn. I think I want Teferi, though. All right, I'll take Teferi. And I'm going to make Gideon a 4/4 indestructible human soldier, and I'm going to attack Karn with both my attacking creatures, and then I'm going to Chant with Kicker in their upkeep. Attack Karn the Great Creator with both of these. There will be an Orum's Chant in the Void if they want to chant me back, but I got Planeswalkers going on. We've got a chump block. And then in your upkeep, the classic play, Chant with Kicker, target you. If they have a Bowmaster, they could flash it out in response. That is at least moderately impactful on this board. Okay. Creatures can attack, including mine. I like the reminder text from Magic Online that my creatures can attack during my opponent's turn. Oh, they didn't even plus Karn. That was something that we're still allowed to do. Okay, Teferi get in. I guess here I bounce Bowmaster, attack Karn. Bounce Bowmaster. I could kill Karn outright. I could also put Karn down to 3 and wash out the Dothy Voidwalker. I think I want a Thundertrap Trainer first. Does that even matter? All right, well, I'm going to train her first. Final Fortune. We're getting so close. Okay, I know they're going to play a Bowmaster next turn. I have another Gideon in my hand, which means I don't mind losing this one if I can 100% clear Karn this turn. Yeah, I guess I want this Prismatic Ending and to kill Karn. Is Prismatic Ending better than Teferi? I think it is. I'll take Prismatic Ending, and I will fire up 4/4 human. Attack Karn, attack Karn. My blocker doesn't matter. Their thing has shadow. Go face for 1. They can't do stuff here because of Teferi. All right, pass the turn. Their Bowmaster can kill Teferi. Their Voidwalker could kill Gideon. They're spending mana in the end step. On what? Untap that land. There you go. All right, we're back. In like Dark Ritual, Helm of Obedience beats me here because they can attack the Gideon, even though I can technically play on with no deck versus Helm. Yeah, Bowmaster's back. I lose all my Planeswalkers here, but I can replace the important one. But there is now a Teferi in the Void. If they want access to that, they can have it. There's now also a Gideon in the Void. Oh no, Thoughtseize, my other Gideon! There's 2 Gideons in the Void, unless they actually are more worried about Prismatic Ending, which I guess is possible. Nope, more worried about Gideon. Alright, deck, we need a good one. Ponder. Alright, well, I guess I will Prismatic Ending the Bowmaster in order to ponder without getting roasted. Isochron Scepter, 2 lands, shuffle that. Here's the Caracas they knew about. I don't like my spot. That Thoughtseize was critical. It's fun that I get to keep this emblem even though Gideon's gone. Just Gideon sneering at my opponent, doing nothing at all. Flame of Inor is a great draw. The 3rd Gideon's a great draw. Things like Final Fortune and Isochron Scepter are terrible draws. Barrogoyf. Everyone loves this card. Settle down, main deck Barrogoyf players. Alright, I'm taking 4 big rips. Tameo. Not very good, but it's not nothing either. They are a deck with Thoughtseize, so I'm going to sandbag this Plains, see if I can score some action on them wasting a card. Another Barrogoyf, alright. I don't have any Rats in the main, which is good for them because they're not respecting it. Right, Thundertrap Trainer enters the Void. Another land. I'd love to see it. Attack with Tameo. Draw a card. Flame of Inor. Okay, that is one of the better cards. What's my dual land spread? There's just 1 Tundra left in the deck. Yeah, I fetched most of my duels already. Trying to decide how I want to cast this Flame. My good hits are Swords to Plowshares. I will invest the basic planes. I'll deal 5 to their Dothy Voidwalker, and I draw 2 cards. I draw 2, 5 to this. Got planes. Blue, red. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to do it. Tameo flips, plus I drew Counterspell. I did not leave up the correct mana for that. I don't know if I could have. All right, pass the turn. Clinging to sweet life versus these Barrogoyfs is where we are now. And unfortunately, because of how state-based action work, My Flame of Anor is in the void, not in my graveyard for Tamiyo to grab next turn. Another Void Walker. It's back. I will never have a graveyard. It's not allowed. These Barrogoyfs are getting in for 5 after the Tamiyo emblem, or Tamiyo Plus kicks in. I don't think I can afford to be hit by these. Yeah, I'm just going to block both and then probably die next turn. But Tamiyo is here with an activation. There's a Brainstorm in the graveyard. Thoughtseize, okay. You've got my counterspell. So I have to Brainstorm into Gideon plus Isochron Scepter Final Fortune. Oh, that's 1/3 of the nut cracked here. Get back Brainstorm. And, all right, big moment of truth. Brainstorm. We didn't get there. What a surprise. And I am dead even through this Tamiyo as a blocker. All right, GG. I might have spent too long that game thinking they were one deck when they were a different one. Wrath of the Sky is good. They appear to be more of a Stompy deck than a Saga Storm deck. Consigned to Memory does hit things like Karn. Swords to Plowshares is actually good. I shuffled one away early thinking it was not going to be important, then they just played a series of incredible creatures against me. That's my bad. Kind of like all my cards, though. Isochron Scepter is a bit worse versus a Karn deck, but it is pretty good versus a mono black Stompy deck. If I could just get Ormsgen or Counterspell under that thing, that plays, and I don't mind jamming it out aggressively early. Teferi might be a little worse here in this deck that only appears to have one instant in it. I like the trainers. I don't really need Karakas in this matchup, but I don't want to try to make it work on 19 lands either. Gideon actually just seems really good, blanking a big body for a while. I might have to shave a Scepter versus the known Karn strategy, and I'm not going to bring in this Consigned to Memory. This is what I'm doing. Just a little too tight. Too much I want to do with my main deck. I will keep this hand. I like Force of Will against whatever they're doing here. And get this Ponder going. Island, Counterspell, Swords to Plowshares. I like all these cards. I will take them in the order that is least susceptible to Thoughtseize. If they Thoughtseize my Force this turn, then I draw Counterspell, counter their next spell, then I can do stuff. That's a line I'm comfortable with. Right, Swords to Plowshares on top of the deck. Double Counterspell up right now. I hope they just Ritual into Karn again. Right, they're showing Bowmaster. I've got the Plow for that one. I'm just going to pass this turn. I think Counterspell is just so good. Getting a 1-for-1 exchange here would be lovely. All right, I'll just Plow that. Happy with that exchange as well. All right, get that out of here. And I could Surveil now, or I could get red mana available. I'm going to Surveil. If they have Dark Ritual Oppo Agent, I can force in an emergency. Cool. Meticulous Archive is in. Wrath of the Skies. I do want that card, but not till later. All right, I'll put it in the graveyard. I'm really interested in hitting a land right now, so I can tap out or tap for Thundertrap Trainer and not feel bad about it. We did it. Thundertrap Trainer with Counterspell still up. Force of Will, Swords to Plowshares. I already have a Force of Will, so I'll take the Plow. Flame of Anor is great here because they have a random artifact in play. They've reached the point where they can Thoughtseize +4 drop, but I do have 2 layers of protection. Okay, 4 mana, Karn. This is what Counterspell's been waiting for. Volcanic Island. As Richard Garfield intended, tap 2 alpha dual lands, cast a Counterspell. That was also an alpha. Okay, playing this Thundertrap takes me off of Force of Will, at least temporarily. There's Gideon. Alright, so I can't force here, but I can get Gideon in. Emblem that fella. I don't know if that's even good, but here we go. I've got a lot of pressure on the board. Okay, they found Thoughtseize the turn after it mattered. If they Thoughtseized me last turn, it would have cost me the Thundertrap to force the Karn, but now this force wasn't on anyway. And these are kind of redundant. If they play a 4-drop creature, I can't Prismatic End it. So I guess like Shieldred is a thing that this Thoughtseize specifically solves. And I'm untapping into 5, which can cast Force of Will. So if they're making a multi-turn line here, they have to at least consider that. Saga, okay, the card is in the deck. I'm unsurprised, but there it is. 4 mana. It is literally Shieldred. All right, fair enough. Say her name and she will appear. Well, I will prevent all damage Shieldred deals. The trigger is life loss, not damage, and it also happens in a window where Gideon isn't active anyway. Right, passing the turn. I don't lose for having less than 20 life. This is something I can try to navigate. Yeah, it sucks I had to mill that Wrath of the Skies earlier, because obviously it's just great here versus Urza Saga. But I did need that land to keep playing. Long goodbye. All right, well, the Force of Will doesn't help there. Opponent's got all the answers. Making a construct in the main phase because the mana was floating anyway. Fair enough. Brainstorm. That's pretty bad into Shieldred, but gotta do what we gotta do here. Teferi, I'm happy to see. I can play Teferi, bounce Shieldred, chant with Kicker. Okay. I'll put back Prismatic Ending and Orm's Chant, I guess. And then Teferi, bounce Shieldred, draws Chant. All right. I take 1,000,000 from that. Bounce Shieldred, fetch, shuffle. I'll take Plateau. I have plenty of blue. And then on my opponent's turn, kick Orm's Chant. And I don't know what I'm looking for here. In quite a bit of trouble. I guess the last Thundertrap Trainer, cast it with Kicker. Go crazy. Another Gideon, hide behind the first one's emblem. If there is a Pithing Needle in this deck, it could turn off Teferi or future Gideons. I don't think they've actually seen Isochron Scepter yet. I've had them in my hand or shuffled them away. Yep, Pithing Needle. Do you just name the thing in front of you? Do you predict the thing that might still beat you? All right, just naming the thing in front of you. Come on, deck Thundertrap Trainer. No. Okay, I can force Shieldred on the way back down, but I am mostly dead here. I am going to pass with some blockers up. I guess Wrath of the Skies is the other good draw. Oh no, Thoughtseize. All right, you win. Nah, resolves. I could still rip Wrath of the Skies, which kills Shieldred and all their other permanents. Chump chump, one good draw. That's what I'm looking for. Stabilize at 4 life. I could still ponder into Wrath, but I can't brainstorm into Wrath because Shieldred is there. That was so sick, that turn where I was like, Thoughtseize can thread the needle for exactly Shieldred, and then that was the card they had. That's just really funny. I haven't played against a Shieldred in, it feels like 8 months. All right, big rips. The one outer Wrath of the Skies. Isochron Scepter. All right, GG. Okay. Game 1 spent a little too long playing around the wrong deck. Game 2, just the Thoughtseize is really good. Thoughtseize is always really good against blue-white, but especially blue-white that's trying to assemble a combo. It was a Thoughtseize that got me game 1 as well, is stripping my second Gideon after I made a line that sacrificed the first one. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3 with a almost normal looking Magic hand. I will keep this Tamiyo situation. I'm going to fetch Basic Island. I can play on basics, so I will. Got Island Plains locked up here. Incoming Basic Island. And Tamiyo's in there. Cool. Misty Rainforest. Forest. Oh, wow. Actual elves. No deck in the format is ready for this shit right now. It's just completely not a normal deck. Orcish Bowmaster is generally the thing. Well, nobody is specifically prepared for elves. Orcish Bowmaster, Archon of Cruelty, and just killing them on turn 2 with various one-ring combos. I'll keep this deck in check, but I am not specifically ready for this. Though I do have Orm's Chantlock available in my deck. That's a thing I do. Okay, I'm going to attack with Tamiyo. And I could Ponder, which is looks at Prismatic Ending and Swords to Plowshares. There's 6 good hits off of Ponder. I also don't hate Force of Will. I risk not using all my mana, though, as opposed to just playing Thundertrap Trainer. All right, a Brainstorm. I will take that and get Tamiyo flipped. I'll fetch Tundra now. I know that my opponent is not coming for my lands. Tundra, Brainstorm. Oh man, 2/3 of the combo is present. Okay, I'll put Final Fortune and Isochron Scepter back. How do I actually navigate this? Well, I want double force, double blue card in my hand, and I would, I guess, rather have Final Isochron Scepter than Final Fortune in my hand if I have to pick one. Battle Sentinel does get 1 damage through Tamiyo, the mighty 1 mana 2/2. Battle Sentinel is one of those funny cards that this doesn't untap during your untap step, and when you cast a green spell, you can untap it. That's supposed to be a drawback. That's the price of doing business to get a 1 mana 2/2, but it's actually the real text on the card, and 1 mana 2/2 is flavor text. Battle Sentinel and Heritage Druid were in the same block as well, so it's not like they didn't know. It's not like 2 cards from 8 years apart suddenly made sense. That was a known thing. All right, the Leaf Crown Vig. I think I want to force this pitching, force a negation. I don't really want this Nettle Sentinel getting bigger and doing more than it has to Tamiyo. Tamiyo taking 1. No free money on that Ponder in my graveyard. Okay, plus Tamiyo, that's happening. There is a Final Fortune on top of my deck right now that I'm certain I don't want. I could fetch for Plateau, cast Thundertrap Trainer, leaving up blue-white, which casts basically anything I'd want to cast. I'm going to do that. Plateau sets up all my colors forever. Thundertrap Trainer. Big digs. All right, Swords to Plowshares. I'll take it. I'm just going to leave that in my hand because Nettle Sentinel is not a problem until more things start happening here. Like, it's currently tapped, doesn't untap till they cast a spell. It can't attack for damage because I have a 1/2 in front of their 1/2, even if it does attack. If they play Glimpse followed by a Heritage Druid, I could plow at that point. All right, well, there's Heritage Druid. I think I have to... Do I plow this now? I don't really want them having Cradle available for 2 mana at any point in the chain. If they hadn't played Cradle first, I would have let this Heritage Druid resolve. That's, I don't want to say a mistake, but definitely a notable thing. All right, you've got Leaf Crown Vig. Nothing that can attack. Tamiyo can buy back Swords to Plowshares this turn. I'd love to draw any blue card here. That is not a blue card. I could fetch Surveil to increase my chances of hitting a blue card. Oh, wait. I just drew Isochron, or I have Isochron Scepter. I put the Swords to Plowshares in my hand, and then Scepter with the thing under it. That's so much better than anything else I was thinking about doing. I'll get another... No, I'll get Volk. I do have double red cards here. Isochron Scepter, imprint Swords to Plowshares, game on. And I am just going to do this now to reduce the impact of this guy's Cradle. I could die. I mean, my shields are down. I could just slam a Natural Order, put a Trax into play. Though, what does that even do? I'll just plow it. They would have to get a nice Glimpse chain going. All right, here we go. Yeah, I could die to this. Heritage Druid draws a card. 2 mana, 3 cards in hand. Oh, the chain is over. Nice. All right, that was an emergency cycle. And I think if I untap with the Scepter, I am golden. Nice. Okay. A little bit risky, but paid off. Thundertrap Trainer. Let's go. Swords of Plowshares, Gideon of the Trials. Do I want Gideon or more plows? I think I want Gideon. I have infinite plows. All right, give me Gideon. I am going to plow now. Again, just trying to reduce the impact of Gaia's Cradle. And I can attack for 1 freely here. Heritage Druid doesn't have power on the attack, and I have a backup blocker just in case. Natural Order is the card I'm worried about, though. Most worried about. It's not lethal here. They could, like, Natural Order for Hoof and just deal 1 to Tamiyo. Or deal enough to Tamiyo to almost kill her. They have a second creature now, so now Hoof actually does go +1. Or +2. But those creatures will be tapped. All right, so is this Zenith for 3 or is it Natural Order? All right. Are you going to Hoof to kill Tamiyo? Do you have some tech thing? Just attracts it a reload? All right. Bunch of stuff in this hand. They do have a land drop available still. Gaia's Cradle could get some stuff going here. All right, it's tight. It's tight. They took Cradle, Wirewood Symbiote, Glimpse of Nature. Okay, I'll go to my turn. Did they not have a land drop there? They don't want to go just yet? All right, that's fine. Land's actually pretty good here, because this lets me play Gideon, activate Isochron Scepter, and I am going to put Ponder in my hand. I can pitch that to Force. I'm going to play Gideon. This is going to lock down Atraxa. I am more worried about Atraxa, or more worried about Heritage Druid than I am Atraxa right now. All right, Atraxa does not deal damage next turn. Plow the Heritage Druid, and pass. Okay, here's the glimpse. They have Wirewood Symbiote and some unknowns in hand. I don't think they're going to win this game if they don't draw a million cards and combo out. I got some hooks in pretty good here. Okay, there we go. That one is handled. Wirewood Symbiote's in. Atraxa, importantly, not an elf. You can't pick up and put down Atraxa here. Not that it's trivial to put Atraxa back down. And because Tamiyo is real dumb, we still have this extra card laying around from turn 2 here on turn 6. Brainstorm. Okay, I'm going to draw a card with Clue first. Another Scepter. Fascinating. All right, plus Tamiyo. Lock down Atraxa. And Plow Symbiote. I really am just more worried about all of their tech creatures than this big Atraxa. This Isochron Scepter's exiled, what, like 5 creatures this turn? Or this game? Good shit. Verdant Catacombs, they're back up to 4 mana. 1 Natural Order was on the bottom of their deck. We saw that go away with Atraxa. They could Natural Order Atraxa into Craterhoof and attack with 1 6/6 creature, I guess. Zenith for something that blows up my Scepter is actually really powerful. All right, do I think they have a Reclamation Sage in here? They probably do. I'm not going to brainstorm to try to stop that, though. If you got it, you got it. Eldamri, Corvectol. Look at the top card anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Green, tap to untap creatures, reveal a card from your hand or top of your library, and put a creature onto the battlefield. All right, cool. Isochron Scepter, as Richard Garfield intended. He definitely worked on Mirrodin, right? All right, Wraths and Containment Priests come in. Probably not Blood Moon. Force of Negation is mid. It is useful in some places, but I would say largely mid. I like all the white removal. I love Orum's Chant. I think -1 Gideon, -1 Teferi is where I go here. Let's do it. Their deck's not really about instants, and 1 Gideon should be enough here. I don't need 3. Okay, Prismatic Ending, Ponder. This is kind of cost of doing business against this deck. It's not like this hand is particularly sexy. However, killing their 1-drop and then having additional plays makes sense to me. If they Zenith for Dried Arbor, they can play around the specific interaction that I have. All right, they did do that. Choke is a card I have to think about. But I'm not going to think about it that much. I'm just going to play Tamiyo. Nettle Sentinel first. Scary. Yep, Guy's Cradle. I could lose here if their hand is good. Heritage D. How far are we going? There's only 2 elves, but there are 3 mana still available here. The Leaf Crown Vig. That is a lord. That is an elf. When you play an elf spell, you could pay a green to draw a card. Good chance that they're about to draw a card here. They're going to draw 2 cards here. And I miss combo elves being part of the format. I hope Legacy looks some kind of way where that is possible again in the near future, whatever that means for ban list management. A Wirewood Symbiote can pick up Elvish Visionary, untapping Dryad Arbor. That doesn't... They could pick up... yeah, this does not result in 3 elves to keep playing spells. They had to bounce one of their tapped elves to untap one of their untapped elves. And that's a good engine for moving forward in the game, but right now it's not doing a lot. Though they don't need to do a lot right now. They're so far ahead. Brainstorm off the top. Force of Will. Thanks for showing up, Force of Will. Okay, I'm going to attack with Tamiyo. Get a clue in the bank. I'll cast Ponder and see what happens. I'm looking to survive this coming turn and then play Wrath of the Skies. That's what I have to do here. None of those cards help do any of that. Shuffle. Okay, Force of Will back up. I'm going to play around Choke where I can, and Prismatic End. They could just pick up the Heritage Druid. All right, I have to Prismatic End Wirewood Symbiote here. That's worth a bunch of mana and worth a bunch of cards, and I just can't remove anything else. So many reasons to do it that way. And now I have to decide how scared I am of this Elvish Visionary I know is in their hand. This is when you cast an elf spell. I think I have to just hold back by force for Natural Order and let them draw a million. Oh, another symbiote. Fuck that. All right. I'm forcing symbiote. That with the visionary in their hand is way too much. Okay, so they're going to get to draw 2 cards here. And then the 1 card that's been in their hand the whole time, followed by the 2 new cards. And they just have 1,000,000 power in play without any of that. Ooh, declined the draw off of the visionary cast. That must mean they have a banger in their hand. Like, their hand is just already natural order and they're going to kill me right now. Oh, Allosaurus Shep. Okay. That could have been worse. Still not... Did they draw a card? I guess they must have. Oh, wow. Where did that come from? All right, GG. You got me. Yeah, that collapsed around my plan when they had Dried Arbor instead of a different 1-drop, and the Prismatic Ending couldn't break their curve, and then they were just ahead for the whole experience. All right, I'm submitting my deck again. Let's go. I don't think anything changes. I could fiddle with the number of Final Fortunes if I just want normal cards in there, but I don't. I want to combo them out. All right. Plow Scepter. Keep the nuts. Scalding Tarn, pass. Dried Arbor. I might just have to use this Plow. I am going to fetch Meticulous Archive first, though. See what's going on. I kind of do want my 3rd land to make sure this Teferi works when it needs to. Okay, serious question here. Bank the Plow under Isochron Scepter, or just Plow Dried Arbor and move forward with life. I got other Plows in the deck. I am going to Plow this now, undo their entire first turn, Teferi bounce their second turn, and then hopefully around turn 3 or 4, Scepter can arrive and immediately be used. Zenith for 0. This deck does usually play 2 Dried Arbors, and there they both are. Everyone's accounted for. Teferi does interact with that. Okay. I'll play the Volk. I'm not hiding anything here. I will fetch Plains, just in case choke ever happens. Bounce Dried Arbor. Gideon, okay. I'm a Final Fortune away from the infinite, the loop. Though Dried Arbor is once again making Prismatic Ending look stupid. It's back. Alright, Prismatic Ending doesn't look stupid anymore. I don't have enough white to do everything. Now I do. Okay. We're back in business. Fetch a Tundra. Plus Teferi. Play Gideon. I could Emblem. Or I could make sure Dried Arbor doesn't do any damage. I think it's Emblem time this time. And Prismatic Ending is an instant right now, but their deck has Gaia's Cradle in it, so I just want to take out the Wirewood Symbiote while I know it's not doing anything. Birchler Rangers is in. That one is scary. That one represents a lot of mana out of nowhere. 6 cards in hand. Cradle confirmed. Eldamri Corvectol. Alright, deck. This would be a good time to draw a good card. Wrath of the Sky is the best of them. No, Final Fortune is the best of them. Come on, deck. Let's do it. Do the thing. Do the thing. Tamio, shit. Alright, plus Teferi. Eldamri doesn't deal damage this turn. Tamio. Pass. Yeah, this could go very poorly for me. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Yikes. A Craterhoof Behemoth would do plenty of damage to kill Gideon and me here. And Eldamri is the type of card you remove on site, so they can act with confidence that I don't have it. Natural Order. Alright. Getting a Traxa. Alright, there's Glimpse of Nature, Nettle Sentinel, another Natural Order in there. Choke. Yeah, Choke. That even beats the Isochron Scepter. I could bounce Choke with Teferi, though. If I don't think they have an instant I have to play around, which I mostly don't. They took Catacombs, Glimpse, Nettle Sentinel, and Choke. There's the Catacombs. I'm glad that isn't Gaia's Cradle. Could still lose here. This Glimpse plus multiple elves. Nettle Sentinel plus Birchler Ranger does a lot. If they just choke me and pass, that's not too bad. Okay, I've been choked. Come on, Final Fortune. Rip it right off the top. Final Fortune. Final Fortune. Getting into the trials. Shit. Okay. What do I have to do here now? Man, Choke sucks so bad. Teferi could just bounce the Choke. That also guarantees Tamio flipping, which may or may not be enough if Choke just comes down next turn. I guess I just have to delete Teferi, bounce Choke, and hope to get there on a good card. Final Fortune! Final Fortune! Another Tamio. We hates it. Right, I've drawn 2 cards already, so I will attack with Tamiyo, flip her immediately. Another land. Tough. Tough! Atraxa doesn't deal damage next turn. I can't play this other Tamiyo out because I need as much mana as possible. Yeah, the choke even beats the Isochron Scepter loop here. There's a Swords to Plowshares in my graveyard. Alright, there's Glimpse. Go nuts. F6. I'm not going to pretend I have anything. You know I don't. If Tamiyo is still in play next turn, Swords to Plowshares can come back. The Shep. Okay, cool. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm F6'd or not. You got it, regardless. I do have a Gideon on 5 with an emblem, plus a Tamiyo, plus Bubble. So there is some combat math to do, and Atraxa doesn't deal damage this turn. Greater Hoof Behemoth is plenty to do all of it. Leaf Crown Vij, Quirion Ranger. There's a lot of manipulating at the top of the deck for this Eladamri right now. That's pretty cool. I have not played Combo Elves since this card was printed. Heritage Druid. They were already off, but now they're extremely off. And just like important, just as, you know, fiduciary responsibility to the Magic players who watch my channel. If these 2 Isochron Scepters were just normal Magic cards, like a Prismatic Ending or a Narset, or, you know, just some card that functions in any way, this game is obviously very different because this Eladamri sticking gave them the confidence to do all the other stuff. And I am goofing here. This is why cards like Isochron Scepter are not normally in Legacy decks. They Zenith for another Nettle Sentinel. Now every elf they play nets 1 or 2 mana and 2 Sentinels untap. Hardcasting Once Upon a Time. They missed a mana there. You can tap the 2 Nettle Sentinels to Virtual Ranger, or you can tap the 2 Nettle Sentinels and another one to Heritage Druid. Okay, so they've missed 2 mana so far. I guess these triggers are still on the stack. The Birchler Ranger, they're pretty far off. Like, it might not actually matter here, but... And they could have 3 floating right now instead of 1. They just play Geist Cradle from hand, it doesn't matter. If they just have these 3 elves, probably doesn't matter. Right, the Choke is back. We did know about that one. There are 2 creatures that can deal damage this turn are tapped right now. This deck has plenty of ways to untap things, but something like Craterhoof arriving at this point may or may not have enough damage to actually win. There's the Cradle from hand. When you're playing combo elves, never make your land drop if you could still draw Cradle this turn. Right, Wirewood Symbiote plus Quirion Ranger, that's 2 untaps available, so if they find Hoof, they win easily here. That's enough to kill me and Gideon with the 2 or 3 attackers that are available. Maybe they'll just forget about the Gideon emblem. I'm hoping. Just right-click, attack all, choose me. Quirion Ranger was just activated to untap Eladamri. Plenty of mana to cast Hoof or Zenith for Hoof or whatever you got. Greater Hoof Behemoth from hand. There are currently 2 attackers available. They can untap the Birchler Ranger still. Right now my out is that they forget Gideon's there. And I don't even think I can win that game, because what do I do with my turn where I'm at negative 40 and have this Gideon in play? And my lands don't work. They remembered Birchler Ranger. Quirion Ranger's here as well. They have 52 points of attacking. A little Meryl Age impression over here, 2020. All right, please forget, please forget. Go face, go face. Oh no, they remembered Gideon. As soon as this attack turns sideways, I will concede. I'm not trying to time them out. This deck just takes a while. Okay, they are putting 2 on Gideon. That's smart, playing around the potential removal spell. GG. I always liked being elves versus blue-white control decks, especially since after the top ban when they couldn't just float Terminus forever. I think this is a terrible matchup, and it's not really part of the metagame right now, so I don't have a specific plan for it. On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables.
I'm on the draw in round 4 with a hand that probably sucks, but I think I am priced into keeping it. I'm good against a spell, and I'm good against a creature, and I have mana to play, but I don't have any sort of plan or the ability to formulate a plan, but I have to trust in the deck to deliver, I guess. I got a bunch of Ponders, Planeswalkers, Brainstorms, those sort of things in the deck. Thundertrap Trainers. We're likely against some sort of Oscillate Pride strategy here. Voice of Victory. Well, I can Swords to Plowshares that. I'll get my Meticulous Archive. This is pretty likely a Wasteland deck. Ooh. Do I want that? Sure, I'll take it. Though, I don't actually really want it. Swords to Plowshares this, because I have to. Guide of Souls. That one resolves. And they're passing to me. I will leave my fetch land alone. Force of Negation. Cards that suck for 1,000, Alex. We got them. Counterspell. But I can't wait to feed this Force of Negation to Force of Will on literally anything they cast here. Especially that one. 2 cards left over there, but their deck is full of good cards. Alright, deck. Find me something good. A Brainstorm. A Gideon. Interesting. Alright, well, my opponent has 1 creature. Gideon thrives against exactly 1 creature. I do have to be careful against this Caracas, because Gideon's middle ability is it becomes a 4/4 indestructible human that doesn't take damage. And it does not have hexproof. Alright, they had the stupid Bowmaster. Alright. So Gideon's just going to die anyway. Perfect. That was the best card they could have. I guess they need 1 energy from anywhere for Gideon to die here. Thoughtseize. Yeah, take it. I wasn't using that. Oh my god, is Gideon going to survive the turn cycle? Okay, attacking me. Alright, not worried about Gideon. That's even scarier. Yeah, I will draw for my turn. Please be a good card. I hate life. I hate life. I just don't want to be around anymore. Alright, I'm going to plus on Orcish Bowmaster. Alright, they're still bricking on creatures. This is pretty fortunate for me. Alright, they remembered Gideon's over there. Like, okay, yeah, maybe this thing is a problem. Alright, Gideon's down to 2. Deck, please. My family is starving. We're so close. Plus on the Orcish Bowmaster. And I will play Arid Mesa. I am 1 Final Fortune away from stability. Alright, they still haven't played a creature pre-combat. Gideon goes to 1, which is enough if I rip the Final Fortune right now. I am going to do the rarely seen fetch to thin because I'm trying to draw a specific thing. Final Fortune 1 time! Alright, Gideon. Well, that's a redundant one of those. So I can work my way through this round of creatures and then play the other Gideon. Gideon dies here. What's in their hand? Probably a bunch of like Swords to Plowshares and stuff. Cabal Therapy. I would say good luck, but there's so many worthless creatures in play that they're going to hit here. If they name Isochron Scepter, I'm quitting Magic. God, they named Gideon, the backup Gideon. That was a pretty heads-up name because it is a card that I wouldn't have played yet if I had it. Oh, fuck my life. All right, well, Final Fortune's under there. I have 1 Gideon left in the deck. That Cabal Therapy actually just saved their life. Okay, for the first time in all of history, I have Final Fortune under Isochron Scepter. If I draw Gideon, it's over. But they are just teeing off on me in the meantime. Come on, deck. Hate you, deck. And on the final turn before I die, I can Final Fortune once for 1 more peel. Alright, well. They finally found a 3rd energy with which to play the game. And now the clock tightens significantly. Right, they're jacking up Guide of Souls. I take 5 here. So I am actually dead on board. It might be time for YOLO, Final Fortune. Just draw a Gideon, it doesn't matter. Thunder Trap Trainer. If Thunder Trap hits Gideon, we can do it. All right. 1, 2. I have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have exactly enough here. Thunder Trap for Gideon. 4 looks at a 1 outer. Big rips. It's plowing in response. Okay. That's 1 extra life to play with. Flame of Venor revealed. That was, I dare say, a good Swords to Plowshares. Okay, I can deal 5 to target creature. I take 3 down to 7. All right, I'm going to kill their bigger Guide of Souls. Pass the turn. All right, another round of digging for Gideon. And I'm not going to fetch because I just put 3 cards that aren't Gideon on the bottom of my deck. All right, that doesn't change anything. This 3 damage is clutch because I'm at exactly 4, which means I can Brainstorm without dying if I draw Brainstorm here. Big rips. Ponder. We're still in it. All right, Ponder. Swords to Plowshares, Brainstorm. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to plow the Orcish Bowmaster. I'm going to take an extra turn after this one, and then I'm going to Brainstorm and hope Gideon's there. All right, cast Final Fortune. It is, in fact, the finalist of Fortunes. Okay, if I fetch first, I don't have to look at that 3rd card down again, which is not Gideon. But if I find a Ponder, I would rather fetch things away. All right, I will fetch first. If they've been sandbagging a Bowmaster this whole time, I'm dead no matter what I do. All right, Brainstorm, show me Gideon! All right, well, I have another spin. I have 1 more look. The 3rd card down has to be Gideon. No! All right. Died to a insanely heads-up ball therapy. They did a great job naming Gideon in the blind. And they knew it was in the deck. It wasn't completely blind, but actually almost had it there. Okay. Force of Negation sucks. Wrath of the Skies is great. Hydroblast has some action here. Kills the backside of a Johnny. Counters Pyroblast. Containment Priest is just a creature with power and toughness. That's not the worst, but it's not what I'm into. I think I'm going to shave some Force of Wills. I understand that I'm a combo deck, but also I have to win a fair game. All right, here we go. That was so close, though. We're zeroing in on it as this league progresses. I'm going to keep my hand. I will lead on Island Tameo. Island Tameo. Tameo's dead, that's fine. Just trying to make the game go longer. Get my hooks in. Island, pass with Counterspell out. Immune to Blood Moon. And Wasteland. I'll counter literally anything here. Shit. Alright. See if you're a sniper. Not that one. I lied. I'm not countering that one. That hesitation might indicate Counterspell. They did see Counterspell. Swords of Plowshares. Yep, that's a good name. But I am ready for the next thing anyway. It's all the same to me. I am going to ponder. I need to find something to do. That's a bunch of Brainstorms. I'll take them. Do not shuffle. Do play Tundra. The Tundra is awkward because my opponent can use Wasteland to get something through Counterspell this turn. Yep, great. I played around that one extremely well. The problem with playing the Flooded Strand and playing around that is that then I have to shuffle away my Brainstorm. All right, you've got an Ajani. I've got Wraths in my deck. I got stuff to do. Cabal Therapy, Brainstorm in response. Jesus, deck. All right. I'll put back Meticulous Archive and hide Brainstorm on top. And this is actually kind of a level system because they know I have Counterspell, so they might just name it anyway, but they also know that I know that, and Brainstorm is a good one to blind name, which is why I hit the Brainstorm, but I can't put them both back. Yeah, okay, I just still had the Counterspell. Couldn't fool my opponent. They're very good at casting Cabal Therapy. Okay, Brainstorm will look at 1 more land. I think that's fine. I'd rather shuffle after the Brainstorm. There's Gideon. Put back some shitty lands and pass. Definitely in trouble, but at least I have Wrath of the Skies in my deck now. Plateau, 4th Aerlingus for 1. Alright, well, I'm never beating the Monarch either. Man, it's tough having bad cards in your control deck in this format. Even these decks that are like... I mean, it's not fair to call these off-meta decks anymore, because they are just known commodities, and They have paid their dues, and we know they're good. These Ocelot Pride decks. But even against not Reanimator, I guess is what I mean by that. Yeah, I'm sitting on this Gideon, milling away this Isochron Scepter. It's tough. It's tough. Wrath of the Skies. I can never win. GG's. Opponent, an absolute sniper with Cabal Therapy. All the same cards drawn. If my opponent was worse at casting Cabal Therapy, I think I could win both of those games. That was the closest we've been yet to getting the hooks in with the combo, though. One more match to try to make it happen. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round. We're looking for a win here. I will keep my hand that's full of good-looking cards. I'll lead on Flooded Strand. That one covers the most basics if this ends up being a turn 1 Blood Moon or similar. Plains. A Chrome Mox. Well, kind of similar, I guess. Okay, we are Boros Initiative and Magus the Moon confirmed. Cool. That one I can beat. I'll get a Plains. And I will plow this thing. I guess I play Tundra here. I think I actually messed that up. I should have fetched Tundra, floated the mana, plowed, and then had the ability to brainstorm here. Yeah, that was a mistake. I guess we'll see what the follow-up is. Flame of Anor can be quite good versus decks like this one, even on its own. But if they just jam Seasoned Dungeoneer, might not even matter. Brainstorm. Oh, God. Yep, I deserve everything that's happening here. I'll put back some stuff and then be locked under the moon for at least 2 turns. Plains, pass. And I didn't know the matchup when I sequenced my draws, or sequenced my lands. If I know they're a moon deck, I lead on Arid Mesa, which can get basic Plains, then I have Flooded Strand back, which can get basic Island, and then I don't care about any of this stuff. But unfortunately, I did not know the matchup. God. Alright, I can never win. Alright. That one was winnable with the cards I had, if I knew what I was doing. Alright, Consigns, Hydroblast coming in. Wrath of the Skies can blow up a bunch of their mana and stuff. Isochron Scepter is funny because it is mana fixing. I can Isochron Scepter Swords to Plowshares even under Blood Moon. Teferi is not very important here. I mean, Force of Negation is good against some of the stuff they do, but bad against some of the other stuff. I think I want to rely on Consign and Hydroblast instead of Force here. Ponder can be too slow in matchups like this. Gideon actually seems really important. I want to get the hooks in at least once. I'm gonna hold on to that Gideon. Tamiyo can be too slow in matchups like this. I do believe in Isochron Scepter in this matchup, just for the mana fixing, if nothing else. Can I afford to lose a Gideon, actually? It's bad to draw 2. Alright, fine. Let's go. Alright, I have access to basic Island, and I can fetch Float with Tundra if they lead on Magus again. City of Traders. Lotus Petal. Please don't have a Spirit Guide. Okay. I'm going to fetch Tundra. The thing I should have done last game. Plow. We did it. Thundertrap Trainer. Fascinating. Okay, I'm going to lead on that because it's a lot of looks. Bank of Force of Will. It has this Flame of Anor turned on now, if I can cast it. Just having a creature in play, any creature at all, is meaningful versus the initiative as a concept. All right, I am going to force this. Yeah, they had to delete their City of Traders to get to the point where that was on the stack. Make them play on 1 mana. Makes sense to me. Brainstorm for the red. And if they play a Blood Moon, I have red anyway now. Okay. I am going to pass. Just attack and pass. I don't want to brainstorm when all the cards in my hand are good. Now I actively want them to Blood Moon. Especially if it's Magus. Cavern of Souls. Cavern on Human. Caracas kind of mid. Now I have something worth brainstorming away. Okay. Red mana unlocked. I'll put away Caracas and Final Fortune. Now I have a bunch of cool things I can do. Attack for 1. City of Traders. I'm ready to cook an Initiative Jerk here. Alright, Initiative Jerk resolves. Gets a tutor a basic. Gotta hope Solitude is not in their hand right now. End step fetch for Volcanic Island. Deal 5, draw 2. That's gone. Can I get the initiative? Let's find out. Combat is in. We did it. All right. I have the initiative. Island or Plains. The second Plains is pretty good here. That guarantees Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, I'll take Plains. Play the Plains. Summon Tameo. Pass the turn. Okay, they floated 4 mana. That is not Cavern of Souls. Oh my god. What's going on here? There's a lot of mana. And it's not for a human. Am I getting solituded? I am indeed. They're probably more worried about Tameo than Thundertrap Trainer at this point. I'll take it. And now I can forge onto Thundertrap Trainer. Make it bigger than Solitude. Fetch land. Replace the Tameo. Pass. I'm on defense mode. Hold the fort. Another Cavern. Please don't name Elemental. Damn it. Or Cavern on Elemental. That's actually not that bad. All right, now are they worried about the 3/4 or the Tameo? It's a little more interesting this time. All right, going after the 3/4. I will Swords to Plowshares this thing. And I'll get my Meticulous Archive. Thundertrap Trainer, let's go. Con Queso. I could goad the Solitude so it has to attack into my Thundertraps. But I'd rather draw a card than have a skeleton anyway. Alright, yeah, I will go into the trap. Opponent's at 17. Thundertrap Trainer with Kicker. I'll put Counterspell in my hand. And Force of Will in my hand. I know I have Force Blue card now. That doesn't matter against a large percentage of their deck, but there are still some things left where it matters. Solitude attacking. I think I'd like to just trade off with this thing completely rather than chump it. This empty board, holding the initiative is where I want to be. But if they take the initiative now, my creature with power just left the battlefield. Archon of Emeria. Yeah, I don't care about that. I can Prismatic End that. I get to draw an extra card in the archive, consign to memory. We love it. Prismatic End, red, white, blue. God bless America. That's gone. Attack. And I believe I would rather just hold up all this interaction than flip Tameo here with my clues. There's a good chance that Throne of the Dead 3 will just whiff. But I'll take that chance. I draw a card, Final Fortune. Fetch my last island, or I think I want Plateau. Let's make red happen. Okay, enter the Throne of the Dead 3. Looking for Thundertrap Trainer. Complete whiff. Yep, good chance of that happening. I drew Gideon. Alright. Now Final Fortune can just be Time Walk, if I want it to be. Gideon. Emblem. And I'll pass the turn. I can draw a card for that clue anytime. I'm going to get the lock in this game unless they concede. I'm calling it now. This is my game to hook it. They conceded. I'm counting this as a Final Fortune win. Okay. On the draw. Still don't think Force Negation is important. Still believe in the combo. On the draw is the combo even more important. Is this where I shove the third Gideon back in? I don't think so. I'm going. Same deck. This is what I got. The Throne of the Dead 3 does reveal the 10 cards, so my opponent did see Isochron Scepter in my deck. They know the whole thing that I'm going for here. Alright, well. Some basic lands and a Force of Will. The most I can hope for versus this deck's opening salvo. I can remove a Chalice of the Void if that's a thing they have. A Karome Mox. Interesting. I'm going to take my chances here. This turns off Cavern of Souls. I do have a bunch of basics in my deck. I can cast Flame of Anor with the island that I have and the mountains they just gave me. I can cast Thundertrap Trainer with what I have. Calculated risk, but I'm going for it. Magus of the Moon attacks for 2 and no follow-up. Alright, they're playing on mono red over there. I drew my second island. This is how it starts. Show me Flame of Anor. Force of Will, Counterspell, Swords to Plowshares. I actually want Counterspell here. Just being able to blue them underneath their own Blood Moon. Pretty sick. If nobody draws a relevant card for the rest of the game, I am losing right now. They do have a 2/2 to my 1/2, but all things considered, I like my position. Island, attack for 1, pass. I'm not going to play this Brainstorm until I absolutely need to. It's a blue card for Force, which I might need. It's also, if I miss, it's devastating. So I'm going to wait until the very last moment where it could possibly matter to go for it. I do have 2 more Thundertrap Trainers in my deck. If I draw one, then I'm stable against the Magus. I'm not far away from kicking the second one. Opponent is a 2-color deck, not showing any white mana right now. They just missed a land drop, so their hand is 4 spells. There we go. That's the thing I said. Okay, I am going to play Scalding Tarn, attack, and do I want to blow this up now or in their end step? I think in their end step. Or in response to a spell, I could blow it up and then... Because if I hit their Magus here, it unlocks Cavern of Souls, which could unlock their whole life. I think I'm fine being at 10 life. Oh yeah, if they're out here casting Simian Spirit Guides, I'm in. End of turn, Flame of Anor. Target player draws 2, or no, do I want to draw 2 or do I want to destroy their Chrome Mox? It is their only red source. Yeah, I actually am going to destroy the Chrome Mox. And then I'll go to my turn with all the stuff available. Meticulous Archive is in my hand, unfortunately. Draw. Now we're cooking. Brainstorm. Isochron Scepter. None of the good ones to put under it. Put away Meticulous Archive. And I don't think Wrath of the Skies is where I'm going with this game. Though it does kill the Simian Spirit Guide and future everything else. I really hate to put Isochron Scepter on the bottom. I just think it's right. That card is so bad when it's not doing stuff. Or I could put Counterspell under it right now. Okay, I'm actually doing that. All right, I'm going to put back Meticulous Archive and Caracas. Do I just give up on a land drop this turn? I have 5. That's enough. All right. Archive and Caracas are gone. This should have been a Plains. Just clicking at random basically here. Yeah, I'll get a Plains, which I should have done the first time. And then Isochron Scepter, put Counterspell under it, and pass. I'm not going to fetch right away because I'd really like to get my Meticulous Archive. I am at 8 though, and they do have a 2/2. And if I try to kill this 2/2, it will cost me my Isochron Scepter with Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, that fetch, just clicking the Scalding Tarn instead of the Plains was so bad, because now I can't access red to Prismatic Ending this unless I want to give up on Prismatic, or on Meticulous Archive, which I suppose I have to. Do I counter this? I don't think so. It's close, though. Pitch to Solitude. Plateau blows up a million lands of theirs. Okay. I have fetched since I brainstormed, so I'm just going to untap here. Nice. All right. We've done it. I am going to not attack just out of an overabundance of caution. I'm going to Prismatic End their Chrome Mox that they just invested all that stuff in. And then I'm going to have Swords to Plowshares for their thing. All right, well, counter that. Yes, I'd like to use the ability. Counterspell targeting Solitude. And then I have Swords to Plowshares for the Spirit Guide. And I could force and or consign a follow-up. All right, pass the turn. I can plow anytime. That's the cool thing about instants. All right, it's happening right now. I've held the fort long enough, and okay, we're untapping Isochron Scepter, doing the thing. They cannot make 4th Aerolingus uncounterable. Not a thing. That's the haste creature I'm worried about in their deck. Lotus Petal, not countering that. Flame of Anor, let's go. They're at 11. Counter Souls, game on. I cannot counter this human. Now I have an actual interesting decision. Do I introduce the initiative? Yes. Because I can take it here. I can fight over anything they would do to stop Thundertrap Trainer. This is an end step, deal 5, draw 2, and then take the initiative and go nuts. Fetch. Valk. Flame. Deal 5, draw 2. And end step, I still have 2 mana up, so it's archive time. I don't want Flooded Strand. I'm about to get a land anyway off of the initiative. I have 1 basic left in my deck. Give me that. Nice. 2 to the Plains. Plains, Tamiyo. And I would, I think, rather have Tamiyo as Tamiyo than as the Planeswalker in this economy. Plains, 2 cards left in hand. I can counter anything that's not a human, which includes that. Counterspell. Sick. We're doing it, team. I'm going to forge onto Thundertrap Trainer. They are actually almost dead. They're dead next turn. Attack. Pass with A set of cards that seems impossible to lose with. Prove me wrong, opponent. Isochron Scepter heard me bashing it for the last few games and just showed up to show me what it's really about. We did it. We won a match. Okay, debriefing this deck. Obviously, we're in a format that's really fast, really efficient. The Ancient Tomb decks are crazy. The Tamiyo decks are crazy. The Jeskai Wizards deck does exist, but it's a small percentage of the meta. I don't think that deck's very good. And we pretty much just made it worse to give it a weird conditional pseudo combo kill. But we knew that going in. We knew this deck was not going to break the metagame. But what did happen is I activated Gideon a lot in this league. Kerastasis wanted me to make Gideon do something in Legacy. Gideon fogged a shitload of Barrogoyfs, a shitload of Atraxas. I had Gideon Emblem to the point where my opponent had to interact with the card. I had one round where my opponent just no-scope sniped me with a Cabal Therapy that, with Gideon in hand, that would have won the game. Like, I actually had the combo on the very next turn. I killed a Karn by attacking with Gideon. We did all the things Gideon does. And although we never got the hooks all the way in with the full combo here, I did take an extra turn in this league with Final Fortune. I did die at the end of that turn, but it was an exciting moment. Isochron Scepter with Swords to Plowshares under it dominated a game. Scepter with Counterspell under it dominated a different game. This was pretty sweet. Final record aside, I think this is a pretty responsible way to do this thing we're trying to do. If you want to be even more responsible, I think you could go 1 Final Fortune, 2 Isochron Scepter, and then play 2 normal Legacy Magic cards in those 2 open slots. You still have options on the combo, but you'll flood out on unplayable cards less often. I was pretty happy with this, actually. Kerastasis, thank you for the challenge. I hope this scratched your itch for getting into the trials. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I will see you next time.